And for the symmetry of the whole day, I guess it was a nice day today, yes. And for the symmetry of the day, I will end on the same page. We started by talking about nature, I guess. We started talking about issues that we can call of a green importance, right? We started talking about wildlife conservation. So I'm going to talk a little bit. I'll make it as brief as I can. Let's talk a little bit about gas emissions, right? Carbon emissions. And I know many countries are pressed on this ones on this one. Australia, for example, the country that I currently live in, right? And um, uh, I think Australia has some natural reserves of coal, but okay, we've got many things in Australia. We are very blessed, and we've got iron ore, and we've got gold, and we've got many resources. Which, by the way, okay, this is not part of the of it was not planned to talk about this. These resources should be these Australian resources themselves should be harvested in a in a smart way, I guess. I mean, we do have stuff to learn from New Zealand on this particular matter. Yes, it's that's a little bit weird. It's always weird saying that Australia has stuff to learn from New Zealand, but I guess that's the truth on this one. Um, Well, maybe, okay, as a bracket, maybe Australia should think more about being insular, I guess. I guess, well, again, I hold hard stance views on most things, but in my heart, this is what I would dream for Australia. I would dream for Australia to be a little bit more insular, right? And that would be ideal for the environment. It would be ideal for the people living here, right? Say when I say that Australia should be more insular, I really mean that. Okay, focus a little bit more on agricultural stuff and less focus a lot less on a lot less on uh, resource exploitation, I guess. But some resources are here, and well, it is necessary we exploit them as such. So yes, as for what carbon emissions are concerned, I'm going to say this: the technology is here, and well, I was led to believe that myself I have contributed a lot in the past for these types of clean energies. And yes, I do believe that my work, especially the work that I've done over here at the University of Western Australia, bears some importance on clean energy. Yet there exists scientific research, there exists important scientific research on the matter. For example, I know that the Hadron Collider in Chicago, I've seen a presentation by a former lecturer of mine, Dr. David Krofchek, and he said that the Hadron Collider in Chicago, for example, in the United States, is, believe it or not, 7 times more powerful than the Hadron Collider in Switzerland, in Geneva. And everybody makes a big deal of the Hadron Collider in Geneva, which kind of powers which, okay, surprise, these Hadron Colliders are providing electricity, right? I mean, how the universe started. These Hadron Colliders are not there for research on how the universe started. And just in case these questions are to be asked, then they are coincidental. Nobody would invest millions, hundreds of millions of dollars for a project that tells us what happened some time ago and how it all began, I guess. So bear that in mind. The technology exists. The opportunity for clean energy is there. I'm not a believer. I don't know what to say. I'm an agnostic on the question whether or not carbon emissions contribute to global warming. Okay, this is one important question on which I am 100%, 110% agnostic. Well, the opportunity for clean energy is here. And yes, as Australians, as people living in Australia, as people that want all the best for Australia, we should say, okay, yes, we are going to implement these clean technologies. There does exist an element of doubt here. We are going to implement these things ourselves, okay? We don't need help from anybody else. We don't need intelligence. That's not the right word, is it? We don't need expertise from anybody else in our own internal matters right here in Australia. Yes, we are going to implement these clean technologies. We're going to make it as quick as we can. We are already working towards that. However, we are going to do this stuff ourselves right here in Australia. Okay, this is what I would like to see from politicians in Canberra, and from this is what I would like to hear from the federal government in particular. Have a good night and sleep well.